Ladies and gentlemen, I've got 7 o'clock straight up, so at this time we'll bring our meeting to order, if you will. Ms. James, would you please call the roll of the council?
Mayor Avery. 1 second, please.
Okay.
The Honorable Mayor Pro Tem James Whitmore,
Present.
Honorable Linda J. Davis,
Present.
Honorable Alex Heath,
Present.
Honorable Samantha Hudson,
Present.
the Honorable Hattie Portis Jones is absent.
Absent.
The Honorable Ulysses J. Smallwood.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. At this time, I'll ask Pastor Greta Fowler of St. John's, could you please come forward? Render the invocation. Everyone, if you can, please stand.
Let us pray. All loving, all wise God, God whom is our ever-present help in time of trouble, God whom we lift up, magnify, and adore, we come before your presence, O God, to give you thanks, to give you glory and praise. God, we come to ask that you would lead us and guide us in the way that you would have us to go. Let every thought, every decision, Lord God, every comment, every question, Lord God, let it be done to the honor and glory of your name. Lead us and guide us, God, in the way that you would have us to go, in the paths, Lord God, of righteousness for your name's sake. And let us forevermore praise you, Lord God, and do your will and do it your way. Be with our leaders, be with our mayor, God, strengthen them. Speak peace to their heart and to their mind, God, as they lead this community in the way that you would have us to go. And when it's all said and done, we'll give you the glory and praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. We'll stay up here. At this time, I will go to our first presentation with the Fairburn.
Our first presentation is the Fairburn Fire Department promotional presentation.
Slide this over to the side. Come on, Ryan. All right, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening. Good evening.
So today we are recognizing our lieutenant and sergeants that are newly promoted. They went through a vigorous process of testing, and we are recognizing them tonight to show that they are deserving of the promotions we are giving tonight. When I call your name, I want you to come up and receive your helmet, and we're gonna stand in the middle for some pictures, all right? All right. So first off, from the rank of firefighter to newly promoted sergeant, firefighter Marvin Jean.
See Sergeant or what? Sergeant or what? What's his first name?
I guess photographer on break, but that's all right. Next one, from the rank of firefighter, the newly promoted sergeant, Sergeant Reggie Pierre. Our next one, from the rank of firefighter to newly promoted sergeant, Sergeant Destiny Andrews. All right, for our lieutenants, from the rank of sergeant to newly promoted lieutenant, Lieutenant Vinny Ursher.
Benny. Benny or Benny? With a B.
Last but not least, from the rank of sergeant to newly promoted lieutenant, Lieutenant Garrett Wade. I'd just like to say I'm proud of you guys. I feel you're going to do well for us here in the fire department. All my guys have to leave. We have a structure fire in the city. Y'all go ahead. As always, I'd like to thank Mayor and Council for the support, our city administration. Thank you all for just backing us. We do a lot for the city. The city is getting busier and busier, and we appreciate you. Mayor and Council, you don't take pictures with it?
Is it holding up the fire? You gotta go with the fire.
Stand up back here. There's so many of them.
The guys that went out. The guys that went out. Oh, okay.
Speak to him. And that's really 15 closing remarks. Nothing that speaks to rules for current public hearings. It's not a public hearing. Not a man in this matter.
Yeah, you would have, yeah.
They run down so fast. Dang, they had to go to work.
Our next presentation, Fairburn Youth Council presentation.
Tell them to stay up here next time.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. I don't know how I can show that up. I know, to get promoted and then have a structure fire. I mean, that.
Oh, wow, I know.
That is a drop the mic and walk out kind of moment. but I bring to you today, I know we've probably seen in the Mayor's City address and also some other publications where we have presented our Fairburn Youth Council. We've made note of them, but we haven't formally brought them to council and kind of introduced them to you. This year, we launched our 2024 Fairburn Youth Council with the support of our mayor and council with funding for this program. The mission of this program is to create our local youth leaders, to give them the opportunity to learn municipal government, promote great citizenship through community improvement projects, foster initiatives for and by youth, and be proactive in creating great city solutions. Our youth has gone through their first kind of task at hand, which was completing a 6-week leadership program. They went 6 weeks every week, every Wednesday for 2 hours to conduct through this program. They've completed that. Now they will move on to their service project leadership portion. And then they'll go on to do some financial literacy. They'll go on to shadow some of our departments. Last week, we had a session on creating where do you want to see yourself. They had to select 2 departments that they want to shadow. Our department heads are going to be ready for them, that they will shadow this summer. And our goal is for them to be the next leaders of Fairburn. We have 12 students. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up, and with Ms. Tashia Davis, which is the coordinator that assists with this program. We're going to bring them up now. All of us. Christian, Madison. Yeah, there we go. All right. We are missing a few. We have 12 students. We're going to be represented by 4 today. As you know, this is end of the school year, and everyone has so many great things going on. We have 8th graders that are a part of this leadership program as well, and they are on their 8th grade trip. So our 4 are going to represent for them today. So today they will be given, since they've completed their leadership portion, I'm going to bring up Dr. Maya Taylor and Mr. John Reed. They conducted our leadership program for 6 weeks. It's a highly recognized and rigorous program that they went through, so we are just excited that we get to bring them to council and get them a little bit of notice and to present them with some of their gifts. They received one already this week, which was their new shirt, so they are official Fairburn Youth Council shirts. Yes. And Mr. Phillips kind of taught us this, that you couldn't be a part and a city leader in Fairburn without your binder, without your
I want one.
professional binder.
That's cute.
Now I'm going to bring Dr. Maya Taylor and Mr. John Reed to present a portion of their leadership training.
Awesome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Behold the future
Yes.
of the great city of Fairburn.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right, standing ovation.
Yes.
Because our future is only as great as that of a young person. They have gone through rigorous training on leadership. And we call it the 4 rules of engagement. Thought leadership, which means critical thinking, right? Change leadership, advocacy, focus leadership, passion and purpose for leading. And finally, servant leadership, which is serving humanity. These young people and the 8 that are not here with us tonight, they are ready to lead, and they are ready to make sure that Fairburn is situated to succeed. It has been an honor. Bullseye, you all.
These amazing young leaders who stand before you have gone through a series of thought processes that focus on serving this community. So they understand how to work together. They understand the importance of stepping up their leadership. They have the courage. They definitely have the intellect, but they also have the personality. That they're going to come to you in their way, and indeed, the city of Fairburn will be a better place because they are here. So please congratulate them once more.
Yes.
They and their peers will each receive a copy of the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. Some of this work they've already gone through, so they're going to make sure that this is embedded in their own minds and in their habits. Then because they are officially arrows, then they'll each receive an arrow patch that can be applied to hopefully a garment. That looks good, but we want to give them their swag while they're here with us. And we appreciate their heart, and we appreciate all of the parents who allowed them to take part in the training. And they have been an absolute pleasure to work with.
So we hold our youth to a leadership standard. So I want you to get familiar with their faces. You will see them leading in schools, leading in their churches, leading in their communities, and continue just to lead. If you see them and they are not up to the Fairburn standard, you can come tell me. Okay, because we want to make sure that we're not just holding them accountable as their leaders here, but our community is holding them accountable as well, because they are the next leaders of their peers. And hopefully one day we do have some that are interested in going into local government, that we will see them up here on this diocese. So
Yes.
we thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for allowing this to happen. All right, thank you.
Names.
Let's bring them up to introduce themselves, and if you could say your grade and which school you attend.
My name is Christian Murray. I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Kendesi West, K through 8.
Hello, my name is Madison Woods, and I am in the 10th grade, and I go to Global Impact Academy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanaa Scipio. I'm in the 10th grade, and I go to Landmark Christian School.
Hello guys, my name is Yves Donyon, and I'm in 8th grade, and I currently go to Renaissance Middle School.
And our students that aren't here, they represent Creekside High School and Bear Creek Middle School. So. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go. I'll wait till Mike gets through. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the adoption of the city council agenda. Can I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion carries. Ms. James, you say how many speakers we have?
I have two.
Two. The two speakers, you tell me their names.
One of them is Ms. Jordana Arias.
Are you here to speak for either one of the issues about the public hearing?
No.
Totally separate?
No.
Okay,
The
we're
other
good.
is Lee Walton.
Lee Walken. Are you here, sir? Okay, good. Okay. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, public comment with 30 minutes will be available for public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. However, a speaker may transfer his or her 3 minutes to another speaker. No speaker shall speak for more than 6 minutes. Information and responses will be given at a later date by the city administrator. Go ahead and call our first speaker.
Jordana Arias.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council member and City Administrator, all the staff, and the great residents of Fairburn. My name is Jordana Arias.
ma'am.
I am a legislative policy analyst with Fulton County Department of External Affairs. And in my role, I analyze, track, and monitor legislation And now I'm the new contact person for the local and municipal affairs for Fulton County. So I'm actually going around to all the 15 cities within Fulton County, introducing myself, and hope to connect with all of you here in all the different cities within Fulton County to explore partnerships, collaboration opportunities, in projects that would contribute to the betterment of all the municipalities within Fulton County. So I just want to introduce myself. This is an election year. There is a couple of initiatives that my team and I have in mind, so I'll be sending you guys emails. So anyways, just want to introduce myself. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much for coming.
Mr. Lee Walton.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Hey,
Good
sir.
evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. Want to start by thanking those who left the room very quickly a few moments ago to tend to a structure fire. I'm seeing texts from my neighborhood chat group with pictures of the smoke, and I was able to tell them that Fairburn's finest are on the way. So. News is happening live as we're here. Thanks to the same and similar folks for response on Saturday morning to an incident at an intersection down the street from my house. I was gardening and heard a big boom, and it was yet another T-bone accident at the corner intersection of Bay and Cole Street. Quick response, there was an injury, but the gentleman was tended to. I won't speak more about the circumstance, but I contacted police chief and city staff about the issue, expressed my opinion and concern about the condition of that intersection and need for an additional stop sign. And in the quick time since, I've been told that that is underway. And so I want to thank you for your support and enabling staff to respond and to take care of issues when they're identified. And just very much appreciate that. Bigger picture, I do have concerns about traffic safety citywide. I'm sure that this individual intersection is not the hottest of the hot spots in the city. I've mentioned a grant funding opportunity for a citywide traffic safety action plan. There's federal grant funds for that. I've understood that the city is already looking into that, so I would just strongly encourage support for that. I think it requires a local match, like most transportation efforts do, but I think that would be very much worthwhile. We're seeing a significant increase in cut-through traffic. I'm next to the courthouse, so that's my little part of the city, and cut-through traffic is increasing, speeds are increasing. Everybody knows when 92 backs up, everybody fans off onto all the side roads, and that's us, and those are small streets not designed for that. So, and I'm sure, again, that there are similar issues elsewhere in the city, so I strongly encourage any and every effort to help with traffic safety. And then my final point is just, again, I guess representing the neighborhood of residents that surround the courthouse. We're still very much interested in the future of the structure and an opportunity to be involved in planning for its future and seeing improvements. We're approaching the 2-year anniversary of that fire, and so I would hope that we can see great things in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
All right. We'll go to our public hearing.
Approval of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Members of council, you have the minutes from the last meeting that commenced on April 22nd. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move. Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
First item is a public hearing. It's a public hearing for racetrack. It's a request for mayor and council approval of the ordinance granting the use permit allowing the operation of a truck stop with the following conditions. No overnight parking of trucks, tractor trailer, or vehicles shall be permitted except for employees actively working at the truck stop. The development must adhere to the supplemental regulations on truck terminals, truck stops per the zoning ordinance, and the traffic study must be completed prior to the review and submittal of the concept plan.
Yes, ma'am. You want to go ahead and brief us?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I finally got that right. I usually say good afternoon. The item before you is a use permit request to operate a truck stop. Staff has done a review of the proposed concept plan and layout. Because this request does involve a use that will be located near a state route, does supply food, has parking and fuel. By our definition, it is in fact a truck stop. So we wanted to make sure that part was noted. There are supplemental regulations for truck stops. That includes that there's a certain minimum requirement. There is no overnight sleeping facilities. And it's quite typical for some of our use permits to have supplemental regulations. The applicant did provide a survey that shows the surrounding area. They provided elevations of the front, side, and rear, and the concept plan. The site is currently zoned heavy industrial, and the future land use designation is office and industrial use. So the proposed use does align with the comprehensive plan. Use standards have quite a few different elements that we review as a part of looking at whether or not to allow a proposed use at a location. That includes alignment with the comprehensive plan, compatibility with the surrounding land uses, whether or not the proposed use would impact traffic flow, how can you adequately get into the site and leave the site. So key elements that are a part of that review are the comprehensive plan, traffic flow, and in particular this site, just reviewing how the vehicles will be leaving and coming onto the site. Now, of course, after reviewing all of that, staff made a recommendation because of the alignment with the comprehensive plan and looking at the surrounding heavy industrial uses. After presenting the item before Planning and Zoning Commission that recommended approval with one opposition with concerns regarding transportation. So we thought that a transportation study is probably very useful in this instance, and it should be brought before the concept plan is reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The other items, we just wanted to make sure that there was no overnight parking of tractor trailers. And of course, the development would have to adhere to the current supplemental standards. If there are no questions for staff, the applicant is available to present the item.
What I'd like to do first, in this case, Ms. James, I want to make sure I'm doing this correct. I was going to open a public hearing to hear from the, okay, members of council, what I'm going to do, can I entertain a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and properly second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. What I'd like to do first, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I'm correct, Ms. James, it's a total of 30 minutes, but I'd like to start with the people that are in, I wrote it to make sure the people that are in support of the project. Anyone that wants to come and speak in support, and then we'll have the people to come in opposition, and then we will have a 5-minute rebuttal by the vendor if they choose to after the opposition. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. My name is Harold Buckley. I'm the attorney and land use consultant for Racetrack. I do have the Racetrack team here. There's Ashley Replogle, Roshi Craven, if you raise your hand, John Preedy, Alan Ball, and then our traffic engineer, Abdul Amir. What I will have us do in this presentation is I asked Roshi to come up and make some opening remarks about Racetrack, and then I will come and talk specifically about the technical requirements for the application. And everyone at Racetrack, their office address is 200 Galleria Parkway in Smyrna.
Good evening, and thank you for having us today. My name is Roshi Craven.
Hold on 1 second. Is that your presentation?
Could you stop that a minute? Because it's 10 minutes for everybody to speak in favor and 10 minutes for everybody to speak against, and that includes you all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is still our presentation.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Now you can start it. Go ahead.
As Harold mentioned, we are here with our racetrack team. We're looking forward to developing this store in the city of Fairburn. We've gone through a lot of due diligence for almost about a year with working with the city, and Denise has helped us to put this presentation together. Our store here is a 6,000 square foot store with a auto canopy in the front and a diesel canopy in the back. The diesel canopy is going to have 4 positions for fueling, and the auto canopy's got 7 pumps, and you'll be able to pump on both sides. We will have access on Fairburn, 1 access on Fairburn Industrial and 1 access on Howell Avenue. The access on Fairburn Industrial is a right-in, right-out with a deceleration lane. We've kind of talked to GDOT to kind of position that access to make sure we're following their standards. The access on Howell Avenue is following the city code. We've had some modifications based on feedback from the city to align it with the adjacent, the cross neighbor and the adjacent neighbors to make sure there is no, we're following the code. There's some code requirements based on the distance. As you kind of saw quickly, the building is one of our newest prototypes. We've modernized the building a little bit, so it's going to look different than the existing one off of Senoia, but it is one of our newer, kind of modern looking. We have a little bit of different colors in there, red and blue, and our brick facade. Our canopies are typical, our red canopy with the white stripe and the racetrack logos on there. I don't have any further, if you have any questions, we're here to answer any questions or comments.
Does any member of council have questions right now?
You have to speak. Not for them.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
And again, to pivot to the technical aspects of the application is for a use permit for a truck stop. That sounds very scary when you're saying the term truck stop. To be clear, what we are proposing is a traditional friendly neighborhood racetrack with diesel pumps on the back of the store. So the diesel pumps are what makes this a truck stop. There is nothing else in this facility that would be any different than any other racetrack you see anywhere else. Excuse me. So I just wanted us to be clear about that, because this is, again, just a racetrack store with the diesel pumps in the back.
Can I ask? Hold on 1 second, ladies. Did I hear a radio? Okay. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Are there going to be showers for the drivers?
No.
Nothing like that, okay.
No.
Okay.
No showers, no overnight parking, no automotive parts sales that you would see in any other sort of a truck stop. This is literally just a racetrack, diesel fueling positions in the back.
Okay.
We have seen the staff's report, and we accept the conditions that they recommended in it after they found that we met all the standards for approval. And the Planning Commission reviewed that and agreed with them. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and again, our traffic engineer is here, there was a concern raised at the Planning Commission level about traffic. Basically, again, since this is just a racetrack with fueling positions in the back, this is not oriented toward heavy truck, usage primarily, like a truck stop would be. This is, with the diesel positions as an accessory element of the business. Because of that, and also because of how racetracks work generally, our engineer has done his analysis on this development proposal, and he has confirmed that of all the trips generated by this location, and when I say trips, I mean vehicular trips, only 25% will be newly drawn into this area because of the racetrack. The other 75% of the business that this location gets will be from background traffic that is driving by anyway and pulling in to stop. And he is very happy to take questions. I don't know what level of detail you want to get into on that, but he has done the analysis. So with that, we would ask for your approval of our application. Oh, let me back up. One more element that I meant to mention is that an exchange that we had in our community participation meeting is consistent with what our traffic engineer has found, because Brad Kaufman, who represented Blackjack Paving, there at 98 Howell Avenue, said he thought this would be great because his business, his paving business, has trucks that would use those diesel positions. And so that is just, again, more evidence to support what our engineers have found, which is that while there will be new trips, I'm not standing here and telling you there won't be any more cars coming into this area because of the racetrack. What I'm telling you is that those trips will be a very small minority of what's happening at this location. So with that, we would ask for your approval of our application, and we stand ready to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Smallwood, you had a question?
I have several, but I don't know if we're at that
Excuse me,
point.
Mayor, if he asks questions, we're gonna need to stop his time. We need to see if anyone else is in favor to speak in favor of it before y'all's questions. Okay.
Is there anyone here to speak, that wants to speak in favor of it? We've got 4 minutes left in that area. Okay. Seeing none? Okay. I can go to questions,
wanna
great.
ask questions?
Go ahead, Mr. Smallwood.
All right, the size of the trucks that this location, your diesel spots, what type of trucks are we talking about?
So we're looking at trucks that are consistent with last mile deliveries, like what you would see pulling into a retail store and they're unloading for inventory. We're not talking about the big rig trucks that you think of when you're looking at, say, a warehouse distribution. Now, could they use the facilities?
That was going to
Yes,
be my
they
question.
could.
Okay.
But that is part of what we're looking at. What we have seen at similar locations is that the box trucks, while they are heavier than a regular car, they're not as big as these 18-wheelers that typically frequent this type of a location.
And then I had one more, if I still have the floor. The 24-hour, you say that people will not be staying overnight, but they don't have any type of limit to stay on the property, though, do they? Like, nobody's kicking them off. Like, so if the truck is there and they're there for a couple hours, nobody's actually kicking them off the lot, though, are they?
Well, nobody would have to, because we don't have truck parking. We have the fueling in the back where you pull straight in behind the store, you pull up to the fueling position, and then once you're done fueling, you pull out and off the property. And John, did you want to address that further?
Either one of us. Yeah, so on the site plan, you can see the diesel positions are here. And it's one
Can you come a little closer? It's kind of hard to see.
So it's one directional through the diesel, and as you can see, they pull up and fill, but there's nowhere for them to park.
Okay.
Absent of just staying in there, which we wouldn't allow a truck to just stay in there. They come in, they fill up, they stop long enough to come in, get a snack, use the restroom, and then they're on their way.
Gotcha.
For orientation purposes?
Hold on 1 second, sir. You still got the floor.
Well, that answered that question, but I also had another question. Now, the traffic study, has that been done yet, or will it be done? And my question, and I've said this before, and when we have these type of developments, the problem is we do this in isolation. Right down the road, half a mile, no more than a half a mile from there, we have a brand new development coming as well. That's gonna have 171 homes. And so we do these studies not with, and maybe this is something for staff as well, when these things come before us, I haven't heard one traffic study yet that says they're gonna be a hindrance to Fairburn or wherever they are. But when it's coupled with what's already there and what's in development right now, see, we're having sight, but we're not having vision. I mean, and that's just personally. This is nothing against you all, but this is what happens because we have a lot of projects coming up right now. And that's a lot more that's gonna be on the road in the next couple years. I think, like I said, I saw 3-4 houses built now with Ferndale. So before you guys get built, if you get built, we're gonna have those 171 homes that we're dealing with, that traffic as well. So, but I will hear what you have to say.
Good evening. My name is Abdul Amir. I'm a traffic engineer with A&R Engineering. Few things. You raised a very good point. And what we have done so far, I just want to go over that briefly and also illustrate what we will do. I conducted a detailed traffic impact study for this particular project a year ago, 2023, and go over some brief summary of what that entailed, but also want to assure you that we will update the study. Certain things have changed in the site plan. It had more number of pumps in the front at that time. Now the number of pumps have gone down. So we will update the study. We'll also update the study before we get the permits and things of that sort, using updated traffic counts to account for some of the things you were mentioning, such as other developments that have been under construction that have come online. But the other common practice, to address the question you had, sir, was to, for us as traffic engineers, when we do study, in addition to projecting the traffic a particular development will generate, add in traffic from other developments in the form of growth factors. So we do existing traffic counts, we add the traffic for this particular project, and we add some more to account for those other developments. There are various methods to do that, and so we do consider what you just mentioned, and we will update the study we have already done. Now, as was mentioned earlier, the traffic that this particular type of project generates, there's so much data that Institute of Transportation Engineers has collected. Statistically, 75% of the trips to these kind of facilities are already passing by on one of the two roads. And they just enter, take gasoline or snacks or something, drink, and then they're on the going back in the same direction they were headed. We call them pass-by trips, which is a good thing because it doesn't necessarily add congestion to the project.
Actually, I want to let him, Ms. James, we can continue the question and query from council. Is that proper protocol?
It's up to you. I gave him 15 seconds that Councilman Smallwood.
15 seconds?
That should not have been taken off.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Whitmore, and then I've got a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll come to you.
I have a couple of questions. First of all, that diagram that you had orientation-wise, I didn't catch it. Gentleman had his back to me, so it was blocking. Can I see that diagram again, please? In particular, I want to know for the diesel pump stations, how many?
There are 4 fueling positions.
4 fueling positions. Orientation-wise, that's coming off of Howell.
So the direction of flow is from Fairburn through the pumps, and then exiting toward the line.
Sorry, could you show, could you show all council? I want to make sure all the council people can see that. Okay.
It's not in his presentation.
No, it's not. And you're telling me they're coming in from where now?
So right now,
So if they're coming going south, they're gonna come onto the property, making a right.
you're right, through the lanes in this direction.
Yes.
Exiting left, continuing out.
All right, thank you.
Would you show this to the council members on this end? Go ahead.
Okay.
What he was asking is generally what was the direction of travel? Entering off of Fairburn, coming in, and this is for the commercial vehicles primarily. Coming in, filling, taking a left, going out to Halloween, and coming back.
Okay. And that's just for the commercial.
That's, we're showing the direction of the primarily the commercial vehicles. And then the same thing can happen for the leaded customers.
Regular.
They can also exit in this direction and continue over toward the interstate. Or they have the election of exiting on the Howell as well too, in case they like to go back.
the commercial goes out.
Yes, we'll have specific
Directions for them.
I think that's good, because we get the use of Howell now. I get to see the project that we did on Howell Avenue, how that actually.
Got the floor. We
Yes.
still have
Well,
the floor, right?
And give.
But I'm letting, why he's in front of him,
Take
you still got
advantage
the
of
floor.
that.
I'm coming to you.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Whitmore, you still
You
have.
still have the floor.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he still has the floor.
And for the
My question
audience's
to you, based
benefit,
on your orientation-
looking at the copy of the plan on the screen.
Hold on 1 second, sir. Let me let him finish. Go ahead, sir.
With your orientation now, that's showing me a truck going south on Fairburn Industrial, right turn in, going to the back of the property to use the pumps, then coming out and making a right, and then making a right back onto. So now, if I have a truck coming north,
in this direction.
and it hits that light at Howell Lane, he's gonna have to make that left-hand turn Howell and come in the back way. Okay? And still exit the same way. Okay, that answered my question, thank you. The other thing that I'm interested in is, and I think as we discussed, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Harold Buckley, is the fact that right now, there's no sidewalks on Fairburn Industrial. And you're gonna be right there at that corner. And as we move forward in this city, we're looking at making sure that sidewalks are putting in. My understanding in the initial conversation was that was not going to happen. Is that still your stance?
We will put in sidewalks, and they're actually shown on our site plan.
Okay, I'm going by what you said to me, so I just want to make sure for the record. The other thing that I'm interested in is environmental. Now, I understand that there's a creek back there, and I understand you have some high-level emergency shut-off to ensure that we don't have leakage into that creek, which is going to cause environmental problems. I have not heard anything in the presentation that talks about that high-tech, whatever it is that you're going to be putting in there. Is there anyone that can explain that to me?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Alan Bell with Racetrack. So the safety measures that we were talking about is just our fuel tanks and the petroleum system in whole. So the fuel tanks are double walled, and they're constantly monitored between the inside space and the outside space. So there's leak detection. So if there's any type of leak, we know about it before it gets to the outside wall. And we've got emergency shut-off switches throughout the site, so if there was ever an issue, so anybody could hit a button and stop the fuel. So we've got, between Racetrack and Raceway, we've got, I think right around 800 locations. And so we've done this quite a bit, and we've got a very detailed system in place for our fuel tanks. Just our fuel plans that we'll submit to you are about 45 pages long of details of everything of how they're constructed.
Staff, Denise? In light of having the streams there and the environmental impact that this could cause, I know we're also following EPA guidelines, and that's what they will be following as well, correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay. There's one other question. And you said there's going to be 4 diesel pumps? And show me the positioning for this high-level prevention for any leakage into the stream. Where is that going to be positioned?
So these are all underground.
They're all underground.
Our entire structure underground, which is very extensive, tanks, lines into the building from front canopy and rear canopy. There's leak detection systems throughout the entire system, throughout both the back of the property and the front. We also have staff that monitors that 24/7.
Staff within within racetrack corporate or racetrack site?
The system is, notifies our corporate staff, and then they deal with, these are the people that understand the laws, that understand all of the procedures that need to happen in case there is an incident on the ground, and the system shuts down.
So 24-hour monitoring off-site.
With the equipment on site. So the equipment is on site, that's monitored, and it alerts our staff at our corporate office. And our on our corporate office, we call our core support center, it's 24 hours also, so there's always folks there.
Okay, you finished, Ms. Wood? You had a question, and I'll come after you. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, I have, Ms. Brookins, since you're there.
Okay.
I wanted to know, in reference to planning and zoning, what was the issue of it not being unanimous? Could you go into some details about that?
The concern was transportation, and because the site is in close proximity to a large amount of commercial vehicles going in that area, there was some concerns regarding transportation in the area and how this would increase that, and also the safety of folks in regular vehicles going by. So the primary concern was related to transportation.
Which means traffic,
Yes.
right? So, do we know the breakdown? Well, first question, let me back up. What is the nearest truck stop that's in this area to this truck stop?
I believe there is a truck stop in close proximity, not necessarily, it doesn't, I'm sorry? Yeah, there's a distance requirement for truck stops, and so there is one in the area, but this does not meet that requirement because of the supplemental regulations. So there's a distance requirement. I believe it was maybe about 2 or 3 years ago when a truck stop was approved, and that one is a little bit different in that those are vehicles that are stored overnight. And I believe that's one company.
How close is it to this one, Just approximately.
I would say it's, can you pull up the supplemental regulations in the PowerPoint, please?
Mr. City Manager, go ahead.
Councilwoman Davis, I believe the one at Oakley Industrial, 74, the Green Oil BP, to the best of my knowledge, is the closest one. It's just on the other side of Interstate 85. Right at Oakley Industrial, kind of behind the Zaxby's.
Right, yeah. Yes.
Right there. That is an overnight facility, unlike this one, but to the best of my knowledge, I believe that is the closest one to the proposed location.
To this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what percentage of trucks, do you have approximate percentage of trucks versus cars that will be utilizing this proposed one?
The applicant can answer that question.
Yeah. Okay.
So simply from the fueling position standpoint, we have 14 fueling positions for cars versus 5 diesel. Sorry, 4 fueling positions for diesel. So proportion-wise, simple proportion-wise, you can see that it's 1/3 or so. But in reality, the majority of the customers that will come in here are going to be more of cars, people wanting to just fill up. Because if you look at the percentage of trucks on a roadway, it's typically 4%, 5%, 90% plus are cars. So if you take that into account, you're really looking at 5–10% of the total trips being the ones that are real trucks. There may be some smaller diesel fuel users that fill up there, but that's my estimate based on my experience. You're looking at 10 to 15% traffic.
Trucks?
Trucks.
Okay.
No, the users for the diesel is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Trucks, even less than that.
Okay. Back to Ms. Brookins. I'm sorry for the switching back and forth here, but you're saying in your, I didn't pull it up, hold on a second. One of the requirements is for you need to have the traffic study must be completed prior to the review and submittal of the concept plan. Now, why is that a requirement? What are you looking for as it relates to the traffic study
I think one of the points that was made really early was regarding traffic studies and having those prior to the concept plan. Now, we want to make sure that our engineers have an opportunity to review and provide some recommendations regarding the overall concept. And that may include decel lanes or other items, but we need that information to be able to provide those recommendations. So when it goes before Planning and Zoning Commission, we want to make sure that we've had adequate time to review the traffic study, and so that the concept plan that is presented to them, if approved, reflects a detailed review of that traffic study.
When you get the traffic study, will it be a negative impact in reference to this development?
I think it will provide us with sufficient information. I don't know necessarily that it'll be a negative impact. Development in general, I think there should be sort of across the board if we're looking at transportation studies. I don't necessarily know that there's a negative or a positive. Typically with transportation study, there are recommendations that provide you with both volume of traffic, if there are necessary traffic improvement recommendations. So all of that information isn't necessarily negative or positive, but it's information that we can use when reviewing the concept plan.
Okay, will there be an adverse effect on deciding this development if the traffic is, if there's tremendous amount of traffic, particularly trucks, in that area?
I don't necessarily think that there will be a negative recommendation, simply because with any development, typically transportation is a part of that. And having traffic engineers tell us exactly kind of what their recommendations are involving traffic control, intersections, and all of that. That's a critical piece to making sure that when development happens, it's done so in a way that's adequate and safe. So without that information, to a certain extent, that concept plan that we're looking at may be significantly modified.
Okay, so it will have an effect on the concept plan, depending on that traffic study?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And so that kind of runs right into the question I had. I was at the planning and zoning meeting. If I remember correctly, and you can tell me if I misunderstand, I thought one of the commissioners asked this gentleman, would you do a traffic study? And I thought I heard the answer was no. Did I misunderstand that at the planning and zoning? Did I misunderstand that?
I don't recall, but it is a requirement. So
Right. Now, and that's kind of what I was going to ask you about, because that kind of raised my eyes, like, really, that's part of the. Okay. Yes, sir, go ahead.
John Preedy from Racetrack.
Yes, sir.
During the planning and zoning, one of the commissioners requested a traffic study be performed for this proposed development. And we have absolutely agreed to have a full traffic study performed, and our traffic engineer is here to attest to that.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead, sir, then I got another question.
And I was going to say, to the contrary, not only were we not resistant to doing a traffic study, but the fact that our traffic engineer is here today, and he wasn't there before,
yes, sir,
shows how we have pulled him in response to the feedback that we got from the city.
Okay, gotcha. Let me ask you one question, Ms. Ross. We had a case, and I apologize, how many months ago? I want to say right across the street, not too far, correct? We had a case that we actually won. Now, maybe I should be talking, Ms. Brookins, excuse me. That was a case that we, yeah. And yes, ma'am, yeah, about trucks, yes, and so my question is, basically in this case, if I remember correctly, we won that case. And so my question is, what's the difference between this and that case that we were dealing with?
That one did have an issue with overnight parking, truck park. It was a completely different type of use than what they're proposing as far as a racetrack.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it was an existing truck stop that wanted to expand, and so that was the difference, instead of it being a new development like the applicant is proposing.
I think you want a mic?
My voice doesn't carry?
No, ma'am.
Not online. Oh, not online, okay. I was just saying, the previous case was about a truck stop that was already there, and they were trying to expand it. So the definition of a truck stop, like here, was in play, But this is for racetrack, which is more of a gas station than the truck stop. It's just that it meets the definition.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I could also respond to your question.
Yes, sir.
In terms of the difference, that was a stereotypical traditional truck stop subject to DRI review because it was a truck stop. Another difference between us and them is that staff did send over the Form 1 for our development project, and the ARC kicked it back. And said,
Could you explain publicly what that means? I know
I'm
what it
sorry,
means.
excuse me. It was that other one was a development of regional impact that had to be reviewed by the Atlanta Regional Commission in addition to the city of Fairburn. The difference between us is while they squarely met that threshold for regional review because they were a truck stop, the staff sent over the paperwork to ARC for our application for regional review, and they kicked it back and said it did not qualify as a development of regional impact because it did not fall within their definition of a truck stop. And even if it did fall within a definition of a truck stop for them, it would have been too small anyway. So again, the difference is the intensity of the use us versus, compared to them.
Before I go back to you, Mr. Whitmore, is it Mr.
Yes.
Hudson or? Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. You
My
go.
questions are specifically, not for you, for policy purposes. I want to make sure that the Section 80-239, the applicant has met the requirement for, as it relates to that standard.
After reviewing the standard, yes, we are
Okay.
recommending approval because of that.
Okay, and so today, we had a traffic study done last year, a year ago, correct?
The applicant did.
The applicant, and the applicant tonight is agreeing to update that traffic study because some changes have occurred, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, as it relates to their application, they have met the policy guidelines according to planning and zoning for this use permit?
Yes.
All right, okay. Is there any issues or concerns of liability that our attorney will see if we, okay, all right, are there any adverse concerns if this council chooses not to move forward with this?
Well, like I say previously, when it comes to use permit criteria, if staff finds that they meet those criteria, because you guys are acting in the quasi-judicial capacity tonight, looking at that criteria, looking at the application, and seeing whether or not that application meets those criteria. If, in fact, staff finds that they do, then it would be my recommendation that you go along with your professional staff because of the fact that the ordinance requirements have been met.
Okay, and also, there is a opportunity to improve and invest in our infrastructure with this project?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Heath, did you? Okay. Mr. Whitmore, going back to you.
Thank you, Mayor.
For me or the applicant?
The applicant. Additional discussions, the concern was going down Fairburn Industrial towards 85, all right? 2 lanes. And I believe what I just heard, when the trucks come in, they're going southbound, turning in, going to the back end where those pumps are at, and they turn out Howell Lane, then make a right, and keep on moving. Trucks coming from Oakley, not Oakley, what's the name of the street? Not Oakley Industrial. No. Bohannon, thank you. Bohannon. There's another e-commerce center that's being built as we speak. So we're gonna have more trucks, all right? And if they end up coming to utilize that facility, so you're telling me when they coming down Howell Lane, coming towards Fairburn Industrial, they will not make that a immediate right. They will have to come to the light, make a right, and go around. I think that's what you're saying to us, right?
Let me let Mr. Amir speak to that since he's the traffic expert on our team.
To answer your question, if somebody's traveling on Howell Avenue, approaching the driveway on Howell Avenue, there will be nothing to stop them from turning right at that particular driveway right there. They don't have to go all the way to the traffic light. on Fairburn Industrial, then turn right, and then turn right. The folks that'll turn right from Fairburn Industrial would be somebody who's already traveling on Fairburn Industrial towards I-85 ramps. They would turn right at that particular driveway. If somebody's on Howell Avenue, the driveway will be able to pull them in right there.
Lester, can you come to the mic, please? And can you put up the diagram, please, showing the layout as it's being presented tonight? No, the one that shows the pumps and everything. So,
You can't really see the entrance from that. But it's a full access. I've seen it before. It's a full access drive.
so there's enough width, Lester, if they coming in off of Howell Lane to hit those pumps. Those pumps are showing me one way in and one way in and one way out.
You're talking about to make that kind of a U.
Yes. That's going to be an issue based on that layout.
To the pumps for circulation.
Correct. So yes, so vehicles can come in off.
Can you come closer? I can't.
Absolutely, I'm better at that. They can come in off of Powell, and this room right here allows for them to turn around and come through so that they're going through the same direction. So we have truck turn exhibits, to show that this is adequate space for that to be able.
Okay. My other question is the history of discharges with racetrack. Can you identify within the last 5 years whether or not you had any discharges in any of your facilities?
Or John, do you know of any? I can't. Yeah. I'm not saying that there hasn't been. I can't name one specifically.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay,
Mayor.
go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, there's another question. We spoke briefly in reference to Fairburn Industrial going towards 85, which is 2 lanes going south, okay? There's a project that's coming to the city this year, hopefully dealing with that whole bridge exchange area, where the bridge is going to be wider. Continuing going south is going to turn into a 4-lane roadway. Right now, dealing with the traffic of the trucks without your facility being there, we have them in both lanes, trying to get on 85, going through the light, still blocking up both lanes and trying to merge over into each other just to get on 85. Again, past that entranceway with the new project that's coming to the city, we still should be looking at least 3 lanes north and 3 lanes south, which means that's going to be communication between you guys and GDOT. That's something that really needs to be explored even before moving forward, because we already have a great impact with traffic right now, dealing with the trucks, vans, and everything else that travel down that way.
So I work a lot on similar projects, on highways that are proposed to be widened, and there is a process, complicated one, that we have to go through. We have to communicate with not only the regular Georgia DOT district office that issues driver permits and reviews the driver designs and traffic studies, but we also have to deal with another department that runs the roadway widening project itself, their project manager. So that is something they require us to do anyways on a project, on a corridor where there is a widening project, in order to understand how will our driveway connect to the existing road in the existing condition? How will it work in relation to the future when it's widened? So we have to demonstrate all of that and satisfy them. So that is part of the process we will go through. Fortunately here, there are no left turns involved in this driveway on Fairburn Industrial. So it's relatively simple in that you have a right in and right out movement and the fact that it'll have more lanes in the future doesn't impact so much, because you'll have to have a deceleration lane. Whenever it becomes 3 lanes, we'll have to have another decel lane on top of it, and then you merge usually in the first lane. So it doesn't impact too much because there are no left turn movements there. But we will go through the motions with Georgia DOT. We will have to.
So that process starts when?
After the zoning, usually I'm engaged to do the design. And then we do detailed engineering design. We coordinate with city conceptually first, with GDOT conceptually first, and then we do more detailed designs after that. So there's a lot of conversation with both city and Georgia DOT as we get into design mode once the zoning is approved.
And please excuse what I'm getting ready to say. I'm not trying to insult you or anything like that, but that tells me that the cart is in front of the horse. And it should be reversed.
I understand it. I've done this for 30 plus years, and typically most projects, 99% of the projects, there is a lot of detailed design. What I mean by detailed design is getting engineering surveys done, designing the grading, the drainage, the signage. There are a lot of things that have to be designed, and that is almost always done after the zoning, because it's a significant investment. They have to do hydrology studies. They have to do more detailed designs, environmental studies. So the more detailed stuff is done after they know they have a project. And that's very typical of not only just racetrack, of all the other development work I do. It's very standard practice.
And I understand what you're saying. I think my hesitation and continued questions really comes from the fact that how it's impacting us now. And I know for a fact it's going to impact us even more. With the additional e-commerce centers over on Bohannon, with the trucks coming down off of 29, looping down onto Fairburn Industrial, with the trucks coming from, coming north, knowing that they're not going to go over, let's just say, over to where the truck stop is at, because it's always crowded, and just coming down knowing that we have another diesel area a couple of miles down the road. And now what I see is making that left-hand turn off of Fairburn Industrial.
Well, Councilmember, you're absolutely right. As I said earlier, there will be additional vehicular trips if this development goes in. I wanted to sort of frame the policy context, though, in this particular inquiry, because, for example, let's say if this was an application for a rezoning, then the choice would be between an industrial development and whatever that current zoning was at the time, usually less intense. But this is a little different because this is an application for a use permit. This property is already zoned for heavy industry. And the city has already adopted a long-range plan saying they want industry here. Now, if we have I-2 zoning, which is heavy industrial, there are a lot of industrial uses that would generate just as much, if not more, traffic than ours, and they would be allowed to go in by right. So, you know, by not approving this development proposal, you're not avoiding the impacts of heavy industrial development. That's going to happen anyway because that's what the property is already zoned. The question is whether the city even gets a voice in that at all, because again, if it's a by right heavy industrial use, they can just draw their development and go pull permits, and then there wouldn't even be any of this conversation. So this is an opportunity just to look at what we're talking about. This body will get another look at this at a later time as we're approaching permitting through the concept plan review process. So you will have an opportunity to come back and revisit this and get more definitive engineering information once this project has been fully engineered, should you choose to approve it. I don't want to be presumptuous or put any words in anybody's mouth, but this, I would submit, is a safer approach than just waiting and seeing what comes and risking not having any role in that at all.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is that the next process, you're going to be working with GDOT and considering all the other things that needs to take place for those additional lanes going down Fairburn Industrial.
That is my understanding. That's correct.
I just want to just re-echo that, just for the record's sake. So when you do come back, if you do come back, that is,
Sure.
if it's approved. Because that additional lane, in my opinion, as elected official, is a must. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. And my additional comment, just like on the Zoom call, when it said that there will not be any additional trucks, cars just coming through there. It's just going to be the normal. And I disputed that on that call because of what I know is happening in this city. And there is going to be more trucks, whether it be 18-wheelers, whether it be the other vehicles that take diesel fuel, all right, because that's the only thing on this side of town that would fulfill their needs. Along with, everybody knows what's happening right there on 138. You have Amazon. Right now, they flood our 2 gas stations on the other side of the highway, where we have our locals that can't even gas up. Unless they're smart, they gas up the night before. But in the morning, there's no happenings. So all these things, this is why I think this body has asked all the questions that they have asked, because we also answer to the citizens of this city as well. And we want to make sure that everything is being done in totality, one shot only.
Absolutely, council member, we hear you clearly. The only clarification I want to make is that I've been very consistent in saying that I'm not going to tell anybody that there's not going to be any new traffic. There will be new traffic, but most of the trips to this site will be from background traffic. Only 25% will be new trips.
Okay, can we do this? We're going to, at this time, we're still in our public hearing. I'm actually going to go to the people that want to speak in opposition of this project. We've got, I believe, if I'm correct, Ms. James, is it 10 minutes total? Yes. So how many people, how many speakers do we have? 1, 2, 3, I've counted 5. I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, I'm down to 2 minutes. Is it?
6 times 2 is 12.
Yeah, it's 12. Yeah, I flunked math, right? Oh, is that what it is? You can't go with that?
They can speak as long as they like, as long as it doesn't go past 10.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying, in this case, I'm trying to make sure as many people. Go ahead, sir. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
I'm gonna start out by commending you guys for the job you've done. I'm gonna start out commending this.
Need your name, Mr.
Homer Knight, and I live in Dorms Lake.
Yes, sir.
I commend you guys for the work you've done in Fairburn. The city are really moving forward. But sometimes the wrong business can come to a city at the wrong time. I live in Dorms Lake. I moved there in 2006. I used to take 5 minutes to get to 85. It's 30, 35 minutes to get to 85, and that's hoping that too many trucks don't be in the line when you're turning. Renaissance stretches from 285 down all the way down that street every year. One side of that street is parked up. A business go in business to make money. They know more traffic gonna come there. Can't deceive us, the community. I will not drive by a diesel station knowing that I need diesel. I'm gonna pull in there, I'm gonna do the shortcut. So it's gonna improve and dump a lot of traffic on Sonoya and 74. We know that. When you consider these projects, you gotta keep the citizen in mind. We got those dorm lakes, those subdivisions, all this there, school buses and so forth. It will tool block or make a Sonoya, a 74, a parking lot. That's it. Now, I buy all my gas from Racetrack. They're number one for me. But this is not a place to put this Racetrack. It will tool block our neighborhood. And people that got to get to work, you just put more pressure on them. I don't have to go to work because I changed my schedule that's there. but they can't do it. And if you just drive down 74 tomorrow morning, from 6:30 to 7:30, both ways, you cannot move on that traffic. So please consider the community, the citizen, when you approve this project. The gentleman said it's already done. If it's already done, why are we here? There's no point in coming, because it's going to impact the area. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Faison Ali. Me and my family are proud owners of the Texaco on 425 Sonoya Road. Mayor, you spoke about the case that happened a few months ago in terms of with our LLC, with Ms. Ross in the city of Fairburn. I don't want to go back on the case because that case was fought and the city of Fairburn won, rightfully for the right reasons, to keep the community safe and away from the proposed things that Racetrack was talking about in terms of upheaval of traffic, truck parkings, and things of that nature. Going off that case, our lawyer had clarified that this was a truck stop in the name, in the same vein as Racetracks, where it was 5 diesel canopies. It's just a diesel canopy, no truck parking. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same level of Racetrack in terms of, you know, small business versus corporate giant. Number 2, across 85, Racetrack already has a station there. They, by my estimate, as a part of a gas station family, make 4 times, 5 times the revenue of our station monthly. And just to come over and take over the other side of the highway kind of represents corporate greed to me. The city of Fairburn has been a big blessing to me and my family. It put my little brother through college. It put me through college. We've been part of the community since 2018 once ownership was changed. So I'm nothing but thankful for the city of Fairburn. And I would just like to say that, you know, competition is what made America what it is today, capitalism. But we want a kind of a fair playing ground. We were denied access to a truck stop per se, considering that it was just diesel pumps. And number 2, they already have a gas station. They're like, how much more do you need? How much more money do you need? Like, I'm part of a minority family. Our family has worked through the mud legally through immigration. And like I said again, City of Fairburn has been nothing but a blessing to our family. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Lee Walton, again, 43 Green Street, Fairburn. Requirement for conditional use approval gives the City Council great flexibility to deny or to apply conditions. As currently zoned, there are many by right uses for this property, as has been mentioned. Conditional use approval is asking for more. It should only be granted when it's truly in the best interest of the community. Otherwise, why identify the need for a conditional use approval? At minimum, more information should be required prior to a zoning decision. The updated traffic study and time to review it, detailed environmental study, as has been discussed, and any other details. Fairburn has truck stop use in our community already, and we have more than our fair share of heavy truck traffic severely impacting our streets and neighborhoods. We need new business and economic development that will bring high-paying career jobs to Fairburn. We have limited developable land with industrial zoning and highway frontage like this property. We should aim higher than more truck stops and gas stations. I'm fine with Racetrack, but we already have one. City has successfully resisted more truck stop land use in the past, and we should do so again. Thanks.
And next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Councilman, Mayor. I'm Dr. Precious Goodson, and I am a resident in Durham Lakes. My husband and I moved into Durham Lakes in August of last year. And we're really proud to be a part of the community. I'm concerned, though, right now about the idea of an erection of a construction of another racetrack. I think that I'm opposed to it. First of all, I have a question. I want to know as far, and this has already been addressed, but I would like to know as far as the expansion of lanes. When are the lanes going to be expanded? Because there's already a problem with traffic. And as a matter of fact, is there going to be a traffic light put up on to Highway 29 when you turn off of Highway 74? And then also when you come up, when there's traffic coming up, so now you're about to turn onto Highway 85. You know, we have a couple of service dogs. We try and take them to daycare. I do work from home, but we do try and take them to daycare in the mornings, and it's ridiculous. If I need to get out of my house at 5:30 in the morning to be able to get on the highway at a specific time without having to wait for 30 minutes or an hour to get on the expressway. Not an hour, maybe 45 minutes. It's ridiculous. And so I would really like for there to be a consideration for the community when it comes to approval of another racetrack put out in Fairburn. I actually am asking that you don't approve it. I also am concerned about, and I understand, and I've heard a lot of talk about the fact that there'll only be diesel pumps at the back of the gas station. There won't be showers or overnight parking, but I know that prostitution and drug use, you know, that's been an issue when it comes to truck stops. And I know it's not defined as a specific truck stop, but I am still also concerned about the type of traffic, you know, that it would bring. So my husband and I, again, we're here in Durham Lakes. We're really expecting for home values to increase. With a lot of other things coming into the community to cause home values to increase. So I don't know how that would even be helpful to add another racetrack. So anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Next speaker. You got about a minute and a half. Come on in, sir.
John Stevens. One question. I haven't heard anything about traffic for school buses. Everywhere in the United States, there's one lane for that kind of traffic as far as 18-wheelers are concerned. One lane. We don't have it here in Georgia, but we need to identify that and have one lane. Going to be a lot of, in my opinion, there's going to be a lot of children late for school if this goes through. As everybody has mentioned, it's going to devaluate our property. I think this is not the time to even think about this. There's other ways for trucks and the 18-wheels, whatever. There's plenty of property over there. Cut another road, build another bridge for them, and leave us alone.
Got 49 seconds. Got another speaker? Okay. Seeing none? Okay. Can I entertain a motion to close the public hearing? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You're right. I have a rebuttal. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just had 3 quick points that I wanted to make.
Okay.
Number one, I never said this was a done deal. Actually, I said the opposite, that this was a better approach because it was not a done deal, and it gave the city and this body an opportunity to have a voice and a role as if this were to move forward. Number two, in terms of the concern about traffic, industrial traffic, again, this property is already zoned heavy industrial. Under the zoning, there's going to be a heavy industrial use here. So if you don't allow racetrack to develop the property, it's not like that risk goes away. The risk is that somebody comes along and figures out how to do it without having to go through this process. And then finally, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about basic fairness, because the city of Fairburn has published a comprehensive plan that says that it wants to see office and industrial development in this community. The area for that land use designation is very large. And then in support of that policy document, this body has zoned this property heavy industrial. And so with that heavy industrial zoning, you basically say, apply for a conditional use permit. If you meet those standards, then you can do that use. And I would submit to you that legally, this is no different than if my daughter were to go and apply for a driver's license. If she takes the road test and she passes that test, and then she goes and she takes the written test and she passes that test, she has satisfied all the approval standards necessary to qualify for her driver's license. The people administering that test at that point don't have the discretion to say, I know you did everything we told you to do, you satisfied all the requirements to get a driver's license, but we still don't think it's a good idea, so we're not going to give it to you. Legally, it's the same thing. We showed up. We presented an application that meets all of the approval standards in your code. And so just from a basic position of fairness, we would ask you to approve our application since we have met all of your standards for approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And so now, members of council, I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. At this point, I entertain a motion for whatever member of council wants to make a motion regarding this project.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we continue this public hearing to the next regularly scheduled meeting. There's a lot of information that, I'm sorry?
It's just been closed.
It's just,
Can't do that. You have to take the vote.
you make a motion to reopen.
I make a motion to reopen the public hearing.
Second.
A motion has been made and properly second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed?
Opposed?
That motion carries. Gotcha. So in this case, let me make sure that I take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, so we got, that motion carries. Well, actually it does it, actually it does it.
You opposed?
Actually done, I don't have 4 affirmative votes.
Yeah, I need the yays and the nays, because I.
Okay, in this case, I've got 2 nays.
Nay.
Who was a nay?
You're a nay as well?
No.
Mr. Smallwood and Ms. Hudson is a nay, and I've got 3 yays, so that motion fails for the lack of a. So that motion, I'm trying to make sure that it carries. Actually, technically, it carries in this case. I've got 5. So that motion carries. In this case, the item is actually carried to the next meeting.
No, that was only to open it back up.
Okay, so now I need another motion. In this case, I want to make sure I've used the right. Can I entertain a motion to continue to the next
I
meeting?
make a motion to continue this public hearing to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oppose.
Okay, that motion carries, correct? That motion carries, correct? Yes, in this case, motion carries. All right, go to the next item.
The next item is a temple of prayer. Okay, let me hold on.
I'm sorry. We want to pass it like a hot potato. I got the rest.
That's the magic mic. That's the magic mic. You're moving.
The next item is the Temple of Prayer. It's request for mayor and council approval of the ordinance to rezone the subject parcels to the O&I Office and Institutional Zoning District.
Hello again.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. Get you. The item before you is a rezoning request. The applicant is Temple of Worship. They are asking to rezone several of their parcels from residential to office and institutional. The applicant initially submitted a request for a sign permit, and after reviewing the request, the applicant was notified that the sign regulations do require a different zoning designation for the type of sign that they were proposing to construct. And so the only way to allow that type of sign be for them to request to have the parcels rezoned. After reviewing the surrounding uses, after looking at the comprehensive plan, looking at other institutional uses in the area, it made sense to move forward with the rezoning request, and the applicant submitted the required documents. Of course, there are quite a number of items for rezoning standards, including alignment with the comprehensive plan, whether or not the proposed use is similar to the surrounding area. After looking at all of those rezoning standards, and because the applicant does not have a proposed use, they're not proposing to build anything, they're just trying to seek approval to change the sign. But with anything, we like to take a comprehensive approach and not get into the business of doing spot zoning, where you change the zoning designation because an applicant has a request, but you want to take a comprehensive approach. So this was a sort of win-win for the applicant, and because it aligned with our comprehensive plan. The future land use is town center mixed use for all of the proposed zoning designations. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request, approval with no conditions, because the applicant is not proposing to expand or build anything. It's just changing the zoning designation on those parcels.
Gotcha. So in this case, I'm going to open the public hearing. Members of council, can I entertain a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. I'll start, again, we will start with the people that are in support of the project. Anyone here that wish to speak in support of the project?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Just in case you do not know me, I am Superintendent Mackey, the senior pastor at Temple of Prayer Family Worship Cathedral. And when I saw that picture there, I said, wow, that took me back and brought back memories. I have not seen that facility in a while, since we tore it down a while back. But we're here. I don't want to say too much because Ms. Brooken did such a magnificent job presenting my case. If I say too much, I might mess it up. So I'm in support of everything Ms. Brooken said.
Is there anyone else wish to speak in support of the project? Okay. Okay, is there anyone here that wish to speak in opposition of the project? Seeing none? Members of council, can I entertain a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and properly seconded by Ms. Davis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. At this time, we'll entertain a motion. Members of council, anyone want to entertain a motion for this project?
So moved.
No, what motion?
What motion?
What motion you want to make? To approve or disapprove?
Approve.
A motion has been made a motion by Mr. Heath to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and properly second. Any questions or comments by council?
Just comment.
Yes, ma'am.
When this mixed-use center gonna be used, can we come over there and have some good events?
As Ms. Brookings said, the official statement is, I am not trying to build anything right now. This is what I'm trying to do right now.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we got it.
And that concludes my comments.
So as As Ms. Brookings said, at this moment, I am not trying to erect anything other than a sign. I'm trying to get my rezoning because I just think it is absurd for a church and all the property that we own to be zoned residential. And when I was trying to get the sign, and I want to say Ms. Brookings has been the consummate professional. Our city manager has been the consummate professional. Thank you all so much. But when he explained it to me, he said, with my zoning, it would be like me trying to put a sign like this up in my subdivision. And we were laughing. I said, but I own all the property.
Right.
You know, who am I going to disturb? We own all of the property around us. And so we're just trying to get a sign. But if we were to ever decide to do anything else, but even in the right now, you all know
Yes.
Temple of Prayer is available. We have been a community church for 36 years. So we've been in this city for 33 years, and we open our facility for anything that the city ever wants to do. All right? God bless you all.
I'm happy for you.
Okay. No other comments by council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Congratulations.
Next,
No, when they dance.
the next item is approval of the consent agenda where there are two items, Keep Me Alive H2O Academy Usage Agreement and Trees Unlimited Canopy Cutbacks.
Members of council, you have before you item number 6 and item number 7 on the consent agenda. Keep Me Alive, H2O Academy Usage, and Trees Unlimited Canopy Cutback. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A motion to approve?
Yes.
Motion been approved, motion to approve by Mr. Smallwood, second by Mr. Heath.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
The next item, the first item is Waste Management 2024 Contract Renewal. This is a request for Mayor and Council approval of the 6th addendum to the contract between Advanced Disposable Services Atlanta LLC and the City of Fairburn for commercial solid waste collection and recycling services in the city.
Okay, you want?
Well, good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members.
Good evening.
Before, if you don't mind, before I explain this item, I just wanted to take an opportunity. I'm presenting on behalf of the Utilities Department. However, our new Utility Director, Mr. Derek Hampton, is here. If he could please stand for Mayor and Council, please.
All right, welcome.
And so,
Good. Welcome.
we absolutely welcome him to our Fairburn family. And so as we do the transition, I stand before you tonight. So Mayor and Council, this item is before you just to renew the agreement between Waste Management. They currently are the vendor for the collection of services for our commercial corridor. At this time, we have not heard anything from our local businesses in reference to service delivery, any complaints in that manner. And so we are just asking you to approve the 6th addendum to this contract, which will extend it for 1-year term with 3-year of additional renewals.
Members of council, you've heard the clerk, the item read before you for Waste Management 2024 contract renewal. Is there a motion?
So move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions by council?
Yes.
Saying, yes, sir, go ahead.
Just one question. You said 3-year renewal, but it's 3-year, 1-year renewals?
Yes, so it'll be renewed for 1 year, and then at the end of this calendar year, it can be another full 1 calendar year renewal. But both parties have 30-day notice if they choose to opt out.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Next item.
The next item is Consumer Price Index, which is rate increase request from Advanced Disposal doing business as Georgia Waste System. Is a request for Mayor and Council approval of the request from Advanced Disposal for the Consumer Price Index rate increase of 4% effective June 1st, 2024 for collection services providing June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025.
Mayor and council, this item is in reference to the contract with Waste Management according to section 5.1, which is standard, which has been a part of this agreement since 2006. They do have the ability to request once each year a petition to adjust its rate upward to reflect changes in consumer price index that have occurred during the preceding 12 months. And so at this time, they are requesting a rate increase. It cannot exceed 4% in the calendar year. So they're asking for an increase in the rate of 4% effective June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025. And again, this is standard in their contract and has been in place since 2026, and it's based on the CPI index that's released each year.
Members of council, you've heard the item read regarding the CPI rate increase. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments by council?
Question real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
She said it's been in existence, I think you said 2016.
It's been in existence, this contract, since February of 2006.
Oh,
So,
2000.
yes, ma'am. So this is the sixth addendum to the contract.
Okay.
Any other council members have a question? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
The next item is General Services Staff Breakout Bailout. This is a request for Mayor and Council approval of the renovation to the General Services Staff Break Room at Howard Avenue utilizing the Omnia Partners Government Corporation Purchasing Program contract with Brown and Root Industrial Services LLC in an amount not to exceed $98,456.86.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Go ahead, sir.
Following up from our conversations at the Mayor and Council retreat and the budget amendment that we had 2 weeks ago, this is for the agreement between the city and Brown and Root to perform the services of constructing or renovating the general services break room, as we talked about previously, to give them adequate space to eat, meet, and be able to function in.
Okay. Mr. Council, you have before you a recommendation from the General Services Staff Break Room Build-Out. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Any questions or comments by council?
I have a question. This was a part of the mid-year budget amendment, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I have a question.
Any other questions by council?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
Councilman Heath made that motion.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
In addition to what you're doing now for general services, in the previous administration, we were also looking at facilities for them to take showers. Right now, it's inadequate, or actually nothing. And we know during the summer months, it's brutal out there. So I would just ask that you take a look at that as well to see what we can do to help our workers down there in the general services area to help them be able to cool off, freshen up prior to going home.
We'll definitely look into that, sir.
Any other questions, members of council? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Abstain. I'm abstaining because in the mid-year budget meeting, I've abstained from voting on that for lack of information for the financial information. I completely support the department's need to advance in this area, but for that reason, I abstain. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries.
The next item is the Fayette Road Wall Construction. Is a request for Mayor and Council approval to execute a contract with the Corbett Group LLC for the construction of the Fayetteville Wall design in an amount not to exceed $149,777.50.
Members of council, you have the item just read for Fayetteville Wall Construction. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments by council?
Quick question. Was this a part of the mid-year budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Abstain. I'm abstaining again because I still have not received the financial information that I requested. Thank you.
That motion carries.
Thank you for the renovation. I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
The next item is the roadway improvements on various city roads project. This is a request for mayor and council approval of the contract award for the roadway improvements on various city roads projects to Magnum Paving for a bid price of $1,510,987.46. Got that.
Okay.
Got it. 1,000,005.
Members of council, you have before you road improvement on various road projects. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is made by motion made by Mr. Whitmore and second by Mr. Smallwood. Any questions or comments by council? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Abstain for lack of information.
That motion carries. Next item.
The next item is the Go Lightly Rain Garden and Green Space Project Contract Award for the Go Lightly Rain Garden and Green Space to complete site for $554,099.
Members of council, you have before you Go Lightly Rain Garden and Space Project. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any questions or comments by council? Go ahead, sir.
Sir, is this another one of your magical ways of getting additional money? I understand CDBG for $315,000.
Yes, sir. We received another $315,000 to support this project.
Thank you for your diligence.
Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Last item.
Last item is the joint venture agreement, notice of assignment for education expansion, catalyst site development. It is a request for mayor and council approval of the selection of Presswick Development and Radio Development Group as the successful respondents to the request for qualifications for the education expansion catalyst site development.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This is in reference to the City of Fairburn through the request for qualifications process, sought qualified teams to lead the redevelopment of the 5.4-acre site adjacent to the Fairburn Education Campus. The Fairburn Education Campus is located on Broad Street, just 1/2 mile northeast of downtown in the heart of the community. It is home to a variety of small businesses, public spaces, and community assets. Just a little bit about the developers that were selected. Presswick Development Partners is a high-quality firm with decades of experience creating diverse spaces, building upon principles of new urbanism, incorporating quality standards, walkability, connectivity, and high-quality architectural infrastructure. They have, to their credit, 60-plus multifamily projects. They've completed more than 4,800 residential units, approximately $1 billion in low-income housing tax credits, and also 36 accessible housing awards. Some of their notable projects includes the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Bobby Jones Redevelopment Project, Sandy Springs, City Springs, the Center for Civil and Human Rights, and also down 55 Milton, as well as the Manor in the city of Fairburn. Radiant Development Partners is a group that specializes in project funding, having worked on multifamily projects with Invest Atlanta, the City of Atlanta, the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and the Atlanta Beltline. Radiant is experienced in helping communities provide equitable housing opportunities with a portfolio of projects representing more than $855 million in community investments. Radiant Development Partners is a premier firm equipped to create opportunities, strengthen communities, and transform lives by designing diverse, obtainable, and equitable housing options. Some of their notable projects include Atlanta Beltline, with more than $74.5 million in development in the Old Fourth Ward, including Trinity Flats, Sylvan Hills properties, and commercial retail development with Ponce City Market. Staff recommends approval of the selection of Presswick Development and Radiant Development Partners Group as successful qualifying respondents for the expertise in providing requisite housing needs for the city of Fairburn. I also wanted to point out in your packets You will have a selection letter from our city administrator, as well as a timeline of events. We've been working with these teams for about a year to meet with them, with our development team, to identify a site plan, a master plan for this proposed development, as well as to work with our development authority, which recently approved a ground lease with an option for the property.
Okay. Members of council, you have the item for a joint venture agreement, notice of assignment of the education expansion catalytic site development. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a motion is made and second by Mr. Heath? Is there any questions by council?
Quick question.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
saying that this is a joint venture between two developers and that they're going to be providing more information about their plan and how that looks?
Yes, ma'am. So we put out in August of this year a request for qualifications for developers who were interested in the development of our catalytic site. That catalytic site was identified through our LCI Downtown Master Plan and informed by both citizens as far as also elected officials. This first step was they were the most qualified respondents, and the evaluation team identified them for both accessibility housing as well as market rate. So they asked both of these developers to work as a joint partnership. And so this initial phase is just saying they are the best of the best in terms of fulfilling what we are requiring for the development of the education campus expansion.
I am definitely interested in looking at Prestwick's development. There have been some concerns about Prestwick's in low-income areas, the quality of their build and their developments. So that information will be critical in helping me make that decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions by council? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll go to city council comments. I'll go to Mr. Smallwood first.
I don't have any comments.
Councilwoman Hudson.
I'm renewing my request for the 2022-2023 council-approved projects. Thank you, Mr. Phillips, for responding to my email regarding the investigation. I'm looking forward to reading that report. Thank you to our staff who did a phenomenal job tonight with vetting and bringing all the information that was required for the interest parties and coming into our city. I think we have a very unique opportunity to make sure that we guard the gates appropriately, and I am pleased with what I saw today. Congratulations to our fire staff and getting out of here to go help make sure that that structure does not burn. I'm definitely looking forward to Mr. Phillips' advocacy for our water and our sewer. You know that's not gonna go away. That's first. Water is a human right, and I truly believe that we're supposed to have quality water. So to our staff overall, to our tech person, to Ms. Chris and Mr. Phillips, everything tonight, I can say bravo, bravo. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Heath?
No comment.
No comment? Okay. Ms. Davis?
It's been a long night, no comment.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
No comment.
And I have no comment. No, I have no comments. So in this case, we don't have an executive session, correct? Okay. Members of council, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.